looks terrible. It looks really bad. It's all because of that light. We're gonna give it a few minutes. I know there's only one of you on it right now, so I have to try to get the lighting right. And let me turn the brighter lights on. Probably made it even worse. Yeah. It's really strange. Yeah, that looks really bad. I figured it was you, Marco. Oh, now there's three people on. All right, that glare is pretty rough. Um, can someone try to send a message just so I can see if it shows up on the screen? It's my first time live on this channel, obviously. I can't see where a message would be. Some messages, live chat. Let's see, maybe this will change it. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Ironhead Garage. What's up, Chris? And by the way, like this is just an experiment, so anybody that's on here or that comes on here or anybody who watches this later, this is going to be rough because it's it's definitely, I'm not sure how like the internet connection is, so I'll be asking you guys a lot of questions first. I'm not in a Wi-Fi area out here, so in a Wi-Fi area, it would probably stream really nice. But uh, could somebody let me know if I'm coming in clear and if you can hear me? I'm gonna wait for some more people to hop on before we move forward. But if you guys can hear me and see me okay, and it's not chopping everywhere, let me know, because if it is, this might not work out. All right, you guys can hear me fine. Bit of a glare. Yeah, the glare is horrible. I might actually try to fix that. Let me see if I can do this. Just get the open light out of the way. It might fix that. It's still in that corner, but all right, that's a lot better at least. All right, awesome, awesome. Um, yeah, I just want to make sure. I watch some live videos with people, and they're more annoying than anything because you can't like, it skips around. You can't really understand what they're saying because it's like you're on a cordless phone that's out of range, and it's all weird and pixelated. And if this stream is going to be like that, I'm not going to torture anybody. So I can always wait until I get a Wi-Fi extender, which I need to do anyway because now that I have the other building out here, I need to put more cameras up, and they won't. The range, it's out of range, this far out. So I still have cameras out here, but just not, as close as I'd like. So, um, anyway, usually, usually people will give it like 5, 10 minutes until, you know, see who else pops on. But if anybody has any questions for me in the meantime, ask away, because there's only four of you so far, which is fine. Uh, my other channel, I did a live once or twice, and there were there were so many people on that it was like hard to keep up with. Like the chat just kept. There we go. We got five, a whole five of you. But there there were so many going on that I couldn't keep up with all the questions. Oh, no, Chris, does it work well? The Wi-Fi booster? I see them on Amazon. I know they're only like $40 or $50. I see. I mean, I guess there's better ones that are even more expensive, but uh, I'm cheap, so I was gonna try to cheap out on like a $40 banger and see if it works out here. That'd be great because uh, awesome, works good. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get one because they're just I need one for the tattoo. I have a tattoo studio out in this area too, and uh, I I would love to be able to. I mean, I don't really need it in there for anything, but it'd be nice for certain things. Like if someone, other people, clients and stuff that get tattooed, they might want. Oh, yours was only $20, man. That's awesome. Yeah, maybe I should look into that. I've seen Netgear ones for like $40, but yeah, I mean, if this is going okay and this isn't too bad, maybe maybe I won't need one for here, but I do need to get one eventually just for the cameras. In your metal grudge, you don't get any Wi-Fi cell service with the closed doors. Yeah, yeah, I feel you there. Like uh, on eBay, yeah, I'll have to get on there and find one. Uh, yeah, the metal buildings, man, they they kill the Wi-Fi and the data. There's a store in my area called Surplus City where I get it's like a giant surplus hardware store that mostly sells junk, tools, but at the same time they you can buy like nuts and bolts and grade A bolts for pennies. And that place, I know when I'm down there, if I'm spending an hour there, like no one's going to be able to reach me because it's a big metal building. I haven't really experimented inside of my garage out there yet. I didn't even think about that. I wonder if I go in there without the garage or with the garage doors down, it probably will cut out my data or Wi-Fi, whatever. A whole six. Here we go. Yeah, guys, this is. I just wanted to see like how this worked. Like, I never went on live with it. It's been years since I went on live with my other channel, so I didn't even know. Like, I had to manually hit a live button, even though I had it scheduled. Like, I thought it would automatically like pop on and be like, okay, you're live, and it didn't. So, good thing I was sitting here like 4 minutes before waiting for the clock to wind down because I would have been you know, I would have missed it, and people, all six of you would have been so disappointed that that you didn't get to see me drink coffee in the garage. Oh, it's hot chocolate actually, but might smoke a cigar. You know, uh, six is good. Got to start somewhere. Yeah, yeah, six is better than none. I mean, uh, like I said, this is just an experiment. Oh, down to five. It's all right. This is just an experiment. I wasn't even expecting six of you guys to come on. What's up, man? Days of Glory. Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad. Glad I'm coming in clear. Uh, I didn't realize you were in Canada, man. I thought you were in America. That's awesome, dude. So many amazing Canadian car builders and mechanics. I mean, it's yeah. So yeah, a lot of Canadian car builders. You guys seem to be doing something right because you're definitely outshining a lot of us Americans. I think we just got too lazy, some of us, and it just seems like. And then you got bad chat out of Nova Scotia up there, which is Canada, right? I mean, I'm dumb. I assume that's Canada. It's above Rhode Island. It's connected to it's North America, but uh, a lot of channels, man. Canadian channels killing it, doing awesome stuff, doing awesome builds. Oh, nice, man. Headed down to North Carolina. I'm not too far from there. I'm in Pennsylvania, And North Carolina, I mean, it is a good ways down there. It's like 8 hours south of me, but you got to pass. You might have to pass through here, to get there. I'm not sure what area of Canada you're in, but yeah, it's a lot of car parts. I wish I could buy in North Carolina. Uh, when I'm searching on Facebook Marketplace every night for hot rod parts, seems like everything's in North Carolina for some reason, and it's just that far away to where I don't want to drive down for a $60 part. But can't find them anywhere in Pennsylvania, that's for sure. Especially my area, it's really hard to come by car parts. I get lucky sometimes, but also you're in Alberta. Nice, nice. Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, if you ever find yourself near Altoona, Pennsylvania, man, look me up. Send me a message. You have to stop by. I can still offer you a beer, even though I don't drink beer. Yeah, it's weird. Like the messages will pop up for like 2 seconds and then they fade away. So like I'll be in mid sentence and they'll be gone. Wonder if there's a way without me turning this off that I could see them stay up. All messages. Okay. Let's see, there's like filters on here. Nice, Chris. Coffee for you too, man. That's awesome. Filters. Oh, here we go. If I put on the filters, yeah, you're right, Brian. Less rust the further south you go. Absolutely right. I'm very jealous of the southern hot rod community because you guys have cars down there that are hundreds of 100 years old, and they're might have some surface rust from some moisture, and it's like up here you have a I left the car sit out. I had that 54 Ford last year, sat outside for 2 seconds, and it had a rusty roof. Uh, no need to offer a beer. Wondering, oh, I tapped the screen. I'm trying to see the comment. Good for you, Dave. It's yeah, I quit drinking about 6 years ago. Dude, that's awesome, man. That makes three of us. Yeah, quit drinking about 6 years ago. I wasn't getting in trouble or anything. I just got sick of it, man. Got sick of feeling like shit every day, and every weekend you work all week to lead up to the weekend, and then you ruin your whole weekend. It's like the dumbest thing ever, and I wasn't getting in my spare time. I all I wanted to do was go have a beer instead of doing productive things. And you guys, I'm sure you guys understand. It's yeah, you get more done and you feel a lot better without it. But I'm not hating on anyone who enjoys a beer, man. Nothing wrong with that. I just I just don't see. I've gone so long now without them that I just it'd be weird for me to drink again. There'd just be no point to it at this point. You know what I mean? It's just like I can socialize with everybody the same way without drinking beer. I just drink water or a root beer or something. Yeah, yeah, Chris. The hangover the whole next day is not fun. It's yeah, you're right, Brian. Everything can be done in moderation, and it's very true. I have a trouble with balance. I'm always trying to find a balance with everything I do. I tend to go overboard with things, whether it's tattoos. I couldn't just stop with a few nice little tattoos, and with cars, as you guys know, I bought my first my first vintage car in 2020. Yeah, and I mean it's 2023, and I've had like 11 of them now. Like I can't. I tend to go overboard with things. I have like that. I don't want to say asshole mentality because I'm not an asshole, but I just I get obsessed with things, and I have OCD. So like I feel like if I'm gonna do something, I want to go like all or nothing. and it was that way with drinking a lot. So it kind of wasn't wasn't worth it anymore. But to each their own, man. I know a lot of great guys that can go out and have a beer, and that's it. They'll have two or three beers and be done. That's when you go super hard for me. Yep, I understand exactly, Dave. Exactly. I wish I could read these out loud. They disappear right as I'm finishing reading them. But this is pretty cool, man. Like, if anybody has any suggestions, I mean, there's not much you can do live. Like, I know some people do live builds. Like, I've seen people do like chop tops on cars live and like do some cool shit. I I probably won't do that, but like I don't necessarily have to just sit in front of my toolbox either. Like if it wasn't pitch black out, I could show you guys around. Yeah, Chris, me too. I couldn't stop till the beer was gone. I'm the same way, man. I took it to a whole other level. When I was younger, especially, I slowed down a bit when I got older, but it was after my daughter was born. I was still trying to mix the party weekends with a baby, and it just doesn't work. It's I tried for a couple months, and then I I was just like, you got to get up whether you want to or not. That baby's not going to take care of itself, and if you're sick all day trying to do it, it's just like, man, what is this worth it anymore? And it wasn't. Now my daughter's turning 7 on November 6th, so 2 days from now, and she doesn't even know like what a beer is. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's great, but like, you know, if you would have known me 10 years ago, you would have never imagined that, I'd be sober today with my daughter would not even know what a beer is because, it's funny. She'll see people drinking on TV and like partying, and she's just like, what? She'll ask me like, what's alcohol? What's beer? Like, she knows now. She's getting a little older, but like, I just tell her, so it's just a drink, adults drink. That's all. She doesn't really understand what it is. And then my other kids that are older, they I had a few beers in front of them when they were younger, so they know. Yeah, Brian, 7 years old already, man. It's insane. I feel like at this point in time of my life, it's a weird time because I'm too old to be young and I'm too young to be old. If that makes sense. I'm sure you guys go through that as well. Like we're still young boys at heart, but I'm too young to, like my oldest is 17 and my youngest is 7. So it's a bizarre feeling. I don't feel like I'm old. I feel like I graduated yesterday, but it was 20 years ago, and I feel like these kids are growing up so fast that it's. I feel like I need to like shit or get off the pot. Like I need to figure things out with my life. Like I want to like build the best future I can. A lot of these cars and a lot of work I do. Uh, yeah, I agree. I agree, Chris. I agree. But I feel like I need to get as much done as possible. Like with these, a lot of people think I'm in like a big rush because they're like, man, you're always doing a build, you're always buying and selling and trading, and I just enjoy it. Like I love that. Like it's like my high. It's my alcohol to do a little bit of work to a car and then sell it for quadruple what I bought it for, or trade it for something cooler. Even if I really love the car, or and if it's not a car, I have to do a project. I have to be into a project, or else, you know, what do you do? You know, life's boring if you're not doing anything. You have to stay busy. You have to have a purpose. And the type of work that I have, I'm not occupied with a job 14 hours a day in the wintertime. And summertime, I'm super busy. I don't have time to do anything, which is good. But you get worn out, and then I look forward to the winter. And then when it is winter, it's like, man, I do like 2 or 3 tattoos a week, and I get bored. So that's why I need this stuff. I constantly need things to look forward to, or else I get down and like bored, and boredom's not good for me. I have to stay on something. Multi-man addicted, but I have a hard time letting them go. Dave, I have a hard time letting certain ones go. Uh, I agree, Chris. You gotta stay busy, man. It's a must. I mean, I think you die if you don't. Uh, like look at people like Gene Winfield. He's like 90 now or something like. He's up there like late 80s, and he still works 14-hour days. Builds cars. I mean, because he never stopped. I think once you stop, you die. I believe that's true. And uh, yeah, it's no fun. You gotta have a purpose. But you know, I'm sure as soon as I'm ready for a break, and my daughter's growing up, my 17-year old will probably have 3 kids by then, and it'll never end. I'll be helping them remodel their houses. It'll just be my life. I have a lot of I have a lot ahead. I Once I'm ready to slow down, they're not going to let me slow down anyway. But for now, I got to be a little selfish and get some stuff done for myself so that I have something to give them someday. And, you know, like we were just talking about letting cars go, there's certain ones like the 58, even though it's a 4 door, that car was through a family member's boyfriend. And I acquired it for, you know, really cheap. And like, it was kind of like my first actual, like the 48, I thought had sentimental value. And I had no problem trading that for the Model T. But the 58 was like my first running and driving car. And I mean, I already am building memories in it. Like I drove it to Ohio this year for the Ruckus, and Rockabilly Ruckus is the coolest show on on Earth that I know of. I mean, I'm sure Viva Las Vegas, that's the craziest hot rod show in America, but I'll never drive that far. That obviously that's like 3 days away from where I'm at. But Rockabilly Ruckus, as far as East Coast goes in Ohio, that was quite an experience. These are people that live the rockabilly lifestyle. They live the 50s all day, every day. They're campers. It was like the camper section was a car show as well, just for campers. Like it was so cool. And these guys like really, they live it. They dress like they're greasers all year round. Their wives are pinups. They're like they play the part, and they when you look at their lifestyles at home. I follow a lot of them on Instagram. All their furniture, their TV sets, everything is from the 50s. Like they're not just playing around for 2 days out of the year or 3 days out of the year, and they drive their cars daily. Like there's a lot of people that are like diehards, and I really respect that. I think that's awesome because I wish I could do that. It's hard with 4 kids to live in the 1950s. Uh, Chris, if you ever, I know it's a far drive for you, but if you ever want to make the trip up, dude, we can meet at a certain point and finish the ride together, or meet there. You probably wouldn't be coming through Pennsylvania together because I believe you're in North Carolina. So, uh, yeah, it'd be a trip. But even if you don't, even if you don't bring your Chevy, or even if you don't bring a hot rod, even just to drive up, dude, it's worth it, man. There's bands that play for 3 days straight, like continuously, and they're all rockabilly bands, and like it gets wild, at nighttime it gets wild. There's always like a celebrity that goes there, like a celebrity car builder or something. And oh, you live in I didn't realize you lived the whole way in Washington. Holy crap. Someone else I talked to lives in North Carolina, and that's why I was thinking that. Man, so you're far. Okay. Well, do they have any good West Coast, shows? Or I know that obviously California is where it all started. Southern California is like insane. But I don't know too much about Washington. So, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely far. But I don't know, guys. I might spark up a cigar. It's about that time. And But yeah, there's a lot of good shows my way. It was a cool experience actually taking the 58, really further than I ever imagined. I mean, I remember when I first started building it. Oh, okay, so you're even far from the coast as well. Okay, but yeah, there was a lot of. I was really afraid to. I remember when I got it, it was like, man, I'm gonna take this around the block, and even that was nerve wracking. Then I got it to like, okay, I can take it out to my local boulevard and my local car show. That was a huge like uh, milestone to be able to even do that. Then I got the brakes out, and it took me 2 years, and then you know the thought of taking it to Ohio, like I was like, there's no way. It's not that I didn't think it would make it. Like it's a small block Chevy. Like you can't like kill a small block Chevy. It takes a lot. Like they're hammers. They'll run forever, but and they're very simple. But I didn't want to like break it. But I'm in a car club, and my buddy who basically runs this chapter was like, man, it's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like, if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. You get it. We'll tow it home. There's like a bunch of other guys that'll be passing through. We'll get it back here no matter what. And so I felt a little more comfortable because I was following him. And Dave said, "Tell Chris I have a buddy in Arizona I can stay with anytime, and I'm used to long drives in Canada." Left out, it disappeared. Uh, Drives to Washington State, not out for me, and I'll visit him one of these days. All right, so Chris, Dave from Days of Glory Shopworks is going to visit you one of these days, because it's not far from one of his friends. Sorry, I'm about half an idiot with this stuff, man. This is my first day. Awesome, awesome. So forget what I was what I was doing. Oh, okay. So the trip to Ohio, taking the 58 that far, really meant a lot to me. Like I can't believe I made it, and I got to enjoy the show, and I was there with my car. Everybody loved it, and it made me feel a lot better about four doors because, as you guys know, in the hot rod world, like four doors are like useless to a lot of guys. Like they won't even bother with a four door. Like they won't even buy one. And Chris said, "Dave, you're welcome anytime." So there you go, man. That's awesome. It's awesome. Making plans through my live feed. I'm glad. I'm glad that people were interacting. I'm glad that this is working out. There's only three of you left, and I know what three are on here. So I'm basically just talking to Chris, Mark, and Dave, which is cool. It's fine with me, man. I'm going to spark a cigar, and maybe a few other people will hop on, possibly. If not, that's cool too. But we're at uh, Dave. You said thanks, Chris, and thanks, Joey, for relaying the message. Absolutely, brother. You guys, as you guys both know, I have a lot of respect for you guys. I watch your videos. I don't comment on every single one of them. I probably should. You guys are courteous enough. You guys leave me a lot of comments and stuff. I I I don't like really watch YouTube very much. Like I'll get your notifications and I'll watch your videos, and then I like hop right off. Like I might be in the middle of something, I'll hop right off. Like I uh, I watch YouTube to fall asleep to. I usually play something to fall asleep to, just as some like white noise in the background almost. Like it's so low that you can't even hear it. And most of the time when I'm on my phone, I'm on Marketplace. I have like a problem. I'm either looking for you know something car related or an antique or something weird. Like I'm always on the hunt for something, and that kind of keeps me going. That's what I like to enjoy. Uh, so yeah, we're at the 29-minute mark. I figure this is kind of like a test. I'll let it go. We'll keep doing every 15 minutes. I'll see how many people are present at 45, and if no one's there at 45. Oh, Brian, you're still here too, bro. I'm sorry. So then Mark must have switched off. Chris, I watch a lot of old movies on YouTube as well. There's actually a YouTube channel. I'll have to find it and I'll send you the link. It's full movies of 50s and 60s and 70s, like Hot Rod Gang and like the Cool Hot Rod, and like all those like old Hot Rod movies. They're all on there and they're in full length and they're in like good quality. Uh, so that's that channel is pretty awesome, and I'll have to relay that to you eventually. But yeah, I don't know, man. I have a love hate with uh, YouTube. Like I said, a lot of you guys, Chris, you know, I have another channel. I think Dave, you've been on there too. Uh, Chris, you actually bought a hoodie off my other channel and rocked it in your video, which I really appreciate that, brother. You didn't have to do that. Those videos or those hoodies are overpriced. I think they're like $40. Probably wish God knows, but like I don't screen print them at my house. Like it's through a third party. Like I just design the logos. I choose the material. Like there's like 17 different types of. You still wear it, dude? They're comfy. I'm wearing one right. This isn't the same one, but it's the same brand of hoodie. I make all of them with the same brand, and they are comfy hoodies, man. I have like 30 different types. I'll get samples made. I thought about making some for this channel and selling merch, but I don't know if it's really worth it, man. I don't think I'd sell enough. It'd kind of be like I'd probably sell like two a year. It's not really worth it. But like eventually, I'm always designing clothes and shirts. Like I designed this shirt just for shits and giggles like a couple weeks ago. And I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like a skeleton holding some wrenches. It's all car related, Pennsylvania, and it's yeah. This camera is horrible, but I like making like car related, like hot rod slash like horror related. I'm like a horror buff. I'm obsessed with horror movies. I like cheesy 80 horror movies. I'm not like into like satanic bullshit, but uh, I just I'm really into like old school like when I was like anything that brings back my childhood, like growing up watching like Pet Cemetery, like all these like 80s movies, like They Live and uh, any Stephen King stuff like that. Uh, Chris, I'll make you one, and send you one, brother. We'll I'll make more of them. I figure like a lot of you guys would probably like them if I showed you the designs. I have like days worth of designs, man. I have so many logos. Like I'll sit up some nights, and if I'm bored, I'll just design a T-shirt or a hoodie. I have so many of them, man. But I like to incorporate like horror movies style, like with hot rods, and that's just kind of like the style that I'm into. It's not that I'm obsessed with death or anything weird. It's just brings back good memories of my childhood, man. Like Return of the Living Dead, one of the greatest movies of all time, man. Anything 80s and that's cheesy and basically anything that's stupid and but like I don't really watch newer horror movies, and if I do, I typically don't like them because I just feel like they're trying too hard, man, and everything's the same. Like they all feel like they have the same vibe to me. I think like, but people try to say that like this is the new golden age of horror. The 80s and early 90s were supposedly the best years, which I believe they are. 70s too, man. Like Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie. Then you got 1980, The Shining. Like all, I mean, those movies are timeless. They're amazing. Uh, Christine, man, like my one of my favorite movies of all time. Christine. It's not a scary movie. It's a horror movie, but it's like not gonna keep you up at night with nightmares. It's a car that kills people. It's a badass movie. And I think everyone that's into this channel would agree. American Graffiti and Christine, are usually car guys' two favorite movies. But someone made the new recipe of horror movies that everyone now follows. They missed the mark. Yes, I agree, Dave. Uh, But speaking of new movies, I'm pretty sure that they're remaking Christine. Christine's your favorite? Mine too, brother. That's why I love my 58, even though it's not a, Plymouth Fury, but the front end, the dual headlights, kind of resembles Christine, even though it's not red and it looks nothing like the same grill or anything. But I just love that year. I love 1958 cars. I mean, who am I kidding, man? I love all the 50s. I mean, from I love all cars, man. 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I start dropping off low in the 80s, but I love square body Chevys, trucks in the 80s. And but yeah, I mean, I'm not anything newer than like 1990. I'm not really interested. But I've heard they're remaking it. Yes, they're remaking Christine, and yeah, it'll never be like the original. But I'm still stoked to see it just because I'm such a big fan of the Stephen King slash John Carpenter. Yeah, and like right there, that's why it's magic, man. Written by Stephen King, directed by John Carpenter. You know, John Carpenter created the slasher film with Halloween. I mean, he was he's one of the greats, and Stephen King's the best horror author out there, probably. So I mean, it just made sense that that movie would be amazing. Chris, 30s and 50s coolest cars. I agree. I agree. As far as traditional hot rods go, 30s, early 30s, especially, uh, and then like the dry lakes cars, like a 34 or even a 36 Ford. I love Chevys too. I mean, they all look the same kind of, and Buicks but I love that style. I'm really itching to get another Model A. I feel almost sick to my stomach that I don't have. I sold that model. I traded that Model T for this heap of shit. This 50 Fleetline, and it's not a heap of shit. It's all right, but it has its problems, and it's not running and driving. And that car was pretty much mint. But I didn't want to hot rod it because it was too nice. The 26 was way too nice to hot rod. But now that I got a little more familiar with the Dave says, agreed. You can look at it 30s and 50s, each look like it has a soul. Yes, they do, man. Couldn't agree more. And I know some of you guys are muscle car guys, 60s and 70s. I respect that too. Been looking at a 47 Pontiac, Chris. Dude, a torpedo. That would be awesome. Uh, I'd love to see you build one because I know what the turnout would be. It would be awesome. So, yeah, please do buy it. If I come across one, I'll let you know. I search every night. Uh, Even though you're on the other side of the country than I am, I'll still I can always type in Washington area. Yeah, dude, lead sleds, man. I I think my plan, speaking of lead sleds, well, these are considered bombs, the fleet lines, but I want to do I want to slam that 51. I think I'm going to take all the nice parts off of the 50 because it has like brand new door cards. It it's like immaculate on the inside. I think I'm going to take all the interior out of the 50 and put it in my 51 and then just get the 50 like drop the engine and get it running and driving. I'm gonna try to trade it for a. I have it for sale on marketplace right now for, a rolling chassis. With I'm just gonna drop the engine, but I'm not gonna wire it. If someone would buy it for the right price, I would sell it as is. But once I wire it and get it running, driving, and stopping, the price is gonna go up a little bit, obviously. But I don't need two of the same car. I mean, I love the fleet lines. I mean, they're like one of my top five cars, my favorite cars. But I have two of them. There's no point. I just should focus on making one of them really really nice, and instead of trying to keep up with all these projects that are unnecessary. Like I have three cars that, and two of them run, as you guys know, but they're very mediocre. Like none of them run to like the best of their potential, and none of them are done to the best of their potential. I don't know what that means to the best of their potential because I don't really want to make them. perfect because then I won't want to drive them. I just want them to function well. I don't really want the paint to be perfect. I don't really care if the interior is perfect, but I feel like there's a way to make a hot rod cool or to make a classic car cool, and be worth a lot of money without it having a mirror paint job, a $10,000 paint job on it, or without having perfect interior. Some people that make their own interior, and it looks awesome, and they sell it, their cars are worth the same amount as a show car. Dave, I think that imperfect is the perfect way to enjoy it that way. I agree, man. Uh, and Chris, you're right. As long as you love it, that's what really matters. I agree. Um, if my cars were too nice, I wouldn't want to leave them. Like I wouldn't want to drive them for one, and two, I don't have a climate controlled garage. I wouldn't want to put $30,000 into one of these cars and then leave it out in the freezing cold. And even though they're like underneath, they have a roof over them. Like mice can still get in here. Like you know, they still there's still moisture. It gets hot and cold and hot and cold in here. Like so, I'm happy with the way they are, to be honest. But I just want to make them run right. I want to get rid of this one, the 50, so that I can put a. I want to build another Model A. That's my main goal. I know that's ridiculous because I just had two of them in the last 6 months, but I want to get another Model A and I want to build it. I want it to be a hot rod. I want to drive it. I want to do everything to it, and I want it to look like a 50s period correct 50s hot rod. Uh, Speed parts from the 50s or 60s, early 60s, uh, at most, and I want to drive it and I want to keep it, and that's going to be part of my collection. This 50 Fleet Line is expendable to me. It's not. I don't. It doesn't hold any sentimental value. The other two kind of do. So that's what I'm kind of working with right now. But I probably will do a series on this channel of me at least getting this running and driving, and few episodes. You know what I mean? I don't even know what I'm doing. Man. I never put a straight six in, but I mean it should bolt right up. I have a power glide transmission for it because the whole point was the wife wanted to drive this, and she has a screwed up foot from a bad surgery, so like she doesn't want to drive a clutch. She doesn't want to drive a stick. So I was like, I'll make it automatic so you can drive it, and we can both drive out to the show. And now I'm like I have the time to build it, and I'm like I don't feel like it. Chris, my 55 is so enjoyable to drive. I don't have to worry about the paint. I know, man, and that thing is immaculate. That 55 is immaculate. It's like one. That's like a bucket list car for me. 55 gasser, man. I mean, dude, you have the car. That's the car that you know everybody wants, and you did it right, man. I watched every single episode of that build. You did it right. It's so clean. That big block, dude. That car is sweet, dude. Congratulations for doing that. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to drive that, all that hard work that you put into that, and to drive that thing down the street. It's probably a great feeling. Brian, I feel bad that your wife's still having issues. Yeah, man, it's a lifelong thing. Uh, and yes, Chris, that's how it starts with the rust bucket, man. But what you turn it into is freaking ridiculous, man. I'm not jealous because I don't get jealous. I'm happy for you because I will never. I don't think I'll ever acquire a car, like of that. I don't know the wording. That car's perfect to me. That car is amazing. Like, and the work that you put into it, it would take me a very long time and a lot more knowledge. I would be watching your videos and then copying everything that you did. Uh, and I guess that's what YouTube's good for. But yeah, freaking amazing. And Brian, yeah, Mallory's foot's messed up still. I mean, she deals with it. She has a brace thing that she wears, and that's pretty much how she's doing better about it. But yeah, it's not the end of the world in the grand scheme of things. Life could be worse. It sucks, but you know, it's it is what it is. She could be terminally ill. People out there are terminally ill, and they're sick, and they're counting their days. You know what I mean? That would be a rough place, and it makes things like that seem pretty trivial, even though it's not. It In the grand scheme of things, we're doing okay, and the kids are all healthy, everybody's happy. That's all that matters. And Chris, you said you paid $2,100 for that thing, man. That's unreal. For a two door. And uh, I remember when you started that build. That was a couple years ago, and I followed along with every episode. I was glued to that, man. When I'd see a notification come up for Ironhead Garage, I was like, man, I can't wait to like get cozy tonight and lay in bed and watch this episode, man. And you always have the gassers drag racing on there, man. I love gasser. Well, that's what drew me to you. I was building a gasser, and then I can't remember if you found me or I found you, but one of us started commenting on one of our videos, and rest is history. And yeah, man, you're full of knowledge, man. Way more than I. I learned a lot from watching because we both had Speedway straight axle. I believe you have a Speedway straight axle on that thing. Uh, Nobody wanted it. I knew I could fix it up. Yeah, dude. I mean, Dave said, I'm gonna hit this. They disappear way too much. Like there should be a chart on the screen that just like stays there when you guys comment. It'll like pop up like a notification and then go away. I'm gonna see if next time I can fix that. Dave, you said I was the same way with Chris's videos. As soon as they came up, had to watch right away. Loved them all. Yeah, man. I mean, he has a way of you know drawing you in. It's just very raw. I like the honesty of Chris's videos and yours, Dave. You're the same way, man. We all kind of are. Our videos are. Chris said, uh, yeah, they all. I like the idea. I don't get me wrong. I love like the content of, like I like seeing like a Hoonigan video, like with some like fancy editing, with some, you know, I that's interesting. Don't get me wrong. Like but like I like the idea of like a raw video where it's just you in the garage and a phone or a camera, and where you can tell like because I we all understand each other of how we do things. Like what a pain in the ass. You got to set it up. You got to make sure that you're in the picture. Then you can like take the bolts out. Then you got to move camera, and you got to like like it takes. People don't understand like when you're doing a video. Uh, yeah, Chris, your videos are the real deal, man, 100%. And yeah, people don't understand what you go through to film, a video to like even if you're just doing an oil change. I think it was Puddin's Fab Shop. I watch him too. I enjoy his videos. I don't know if any of you guys watch him, but he just built like a crazy workshop, dude. I'm like super jello of it. It's awesome. And he deserves it. He's a good guy, man. He's real family oriented, and sometimes he like gets so like you know appreciative on film. He'll start crying, thanking people. Like a humble dude, and he's hilarious. Like he has comedy. He has like a comedic aspect to his videos. But yeah, making a video, Chris. Yeah, like you just said. Uh, People don't understand what it takes. They think like, oh, that's easy. He's just filming himself. Brian said, I don't. You guys can probably. I don't know if you guys can read each other's comments or not. Like there should be a chat. I don't think you can, but I'm gonna figure this out to where next time I'm gonna put up like a super chat. Which, by the way, if I ever do a super chat and it's like saying like I'm not doing that to get donations. Don't ever donate to my videos. Like I would not. I do not want money from anybody. This is like simply because I'm bored and having fun. Brian, you said, I like real raw videos too. Many individuals trying to be companies, and too many companies trying to be individuals. You're 100% right on that, man. Okay, you guys can see each other's comments. Awesome. So I don't have to read them all out loud. I can just kind of answer you guys. I didn't want to like leave anybody out. Okay, great. Uh, You guys are probably wondering what I'm talking about with Brian. Southpaw's Brian. But yeah, so Brian used to be my neighbor, lived right across the street. So he knows me pretty well. Great guy. It's cool to see you guys on here, man. It's like even though it's only 5 people, man, we'll let this run another 10 minutes. Then I'll let everybody get back to their night. I know some of you probably felt obligated to hop on here just because it's my first live, and I appreciate that. You didn't have to, but it's cool to interact with you guys on a. It's almost like we're talking back and forth, which we are. There's like a gnat there or something. I'm trying to get this. I'm gonna smoke this cigar, man. Uh, yeah, they they don't, Chris. It's real bizarre. Like they show up. They show up in the bottom left hand corner, like right where my finger is, right there. And I know, Brian. I need to get down there and visit, man. Yeah, you. I don't. I couldn't remember if you were a cigar man or not. You always had a nice beard on you. You were always a beardsman. Mostly, it's something about guys that grow these long beards. We always enjoy cigars too. Nah, this isn't a Cuban. I don't know that I've ever had a Cuban. My friend gave me one and claimed it was. He got it when he was on vacation. I don't know, man. I'm a cheap ass. Like I smoke elephant butts. They're like 250 a piece. Because this one was given to me last night. I went with my cousin and we stopped at the cigar shop like after hours. It was a bizarre occurrence. Like we were walking by and he knew someone in there. And it's members only, and they let us in. And he knew the one guy in there, and he just like gifted this to me, which is cool. Uh, but yeah, you Brian, you look like a fellow cigar smoker with that healthy beard. You had a nice beard again. You said you trimmed it. Yeah, mine's longer than usual, man. It's getting white, dude. I don't know how I feel about it. It needs a trim real bad right now. I'm looking haggard out here, but it feels good when it with this cold weather. As it's nice. Summertime, not so much, but this thing's delicious. It's probably a $20 cigar. I would never buy it. It was given to me, or else I'm not used to good tasting cigars. This is this is a Legends by Drew Estate. Go figure, autofocus is junk on a cell phone. But yeah, I don't know if you guys saw these before, but tastes amazing. I probably should have used a match, but no. Yeah, it tastes good too, Chris. I wish uh I wish I could, hand you one through the screen, man. I'll smoke this for you guys as well. Yeah, I was never really a big cigar guy. I smoked cigarettes back in the day for about 13 years, and I I'm so I wouldn't say bored, but like I don't have any vices other than building stuff. Like everybody has a vice, whether they smoke or chew or have a beer or smoke their pot, whatever. I don't do anything. Like uh, a cigar once or twice a week is pretty much all I look forward to. And if I start doing these live videos, this will give me an excuse to come out here and drink a cup of coffee and smoke a cigar. And yeah, it's kind of nice, man. It's too bad that like because there's only 5 of you, it'd be cool if like we could all see each other. You know what I mean? It's weird to think that you guys are just looking at me rambling on, and you guys are waiting. You guys are probably waiting for me to like get this over with so you can get back to your lives. We got 5 minutes left. I'll cut it off at exactly an hour. That way, when if people watch this that aren't on here, uh, they can like my subscribers can watch it later on, and we'll just cut it off in an hour, and then if I decide to do this again, which I probably will, this goes out because I'm talking too much. If I decide to do this again, I'll probably keep it in an hour the next time. Maybe if like anyone wants me to like walk around and show them anything, I don't have to sit still the whole time. I can always, if it was daylight out, I'd take you guys out to the garage and show you guys like uh, the new garage that I built and show you guys some of the stuff that's going on out there. I mean, in the video, I just flip flop around in the video, and there's a lot in there that's uh, not shown in the video. I guess that's which I guess I'll use the last 5 minutes to discuss what a nightmare the garage was. The garage was horrific from the start. Big boss buildings or boss buildings. Uh, yeah, I'm still messing with the cannons here and there, Chris. I'm probably gonna get back to it when I get bored enough because uh, he needs me to paint, and I like doing that. But the carport was a nightmare. The guys showed up way late, and they forgot half the material when they finally did show up. And then they came back 2 weeks later, finished their portion. I obviously put the front and back wall on and framed in the garage doors and put the garage doors up. I bought used garage doors. I think I mentioned all this, but the company like they butchered it. There's a lot of like imperfections on it. I'm not that fussy, but like it was bad, and but I can't complain or like really cause a fuss about it because I have 4,600 dollars almost to the dollar. Like I think I have like 45, 80 something into that garage. So I have under 5 grand into that, and for what like I'm grateful for it. I'm not complaining. Like I'm grateful to have it for that price because I can't afford a brand new $20,000 garage, not in a million years. Uh, yeah, yeah, I agree, man. I try to do everything myself. I wasn't gonna pay anybody. I like what happened was I got it. It was on sale. It was 20% off, and it was just for a carport. It was like $2,300 just for the side. Just or I'm sorry, just for the carport. And then I said, well, if I give you cash and not put it on like a layaway or like a finance or rent to own, would you guys do it for two? And so they agreed for two. And then I said, well, can I? So they agreed for a 12-foot high because I want to put a car lift in there, obviously. And so they agreed for that. And then I added the walls, which added another $800. So $2,800, I had the carport and two sidewalls. And then I bought the metal and a couple pieces of wood, to frame everything out and some screws. And that was another like $500 or not even, it was like $400. And then cement and and then I bought the garage doors, which were used. So they're like $300 a piece. I don't even know how that's adding up, I just know that it came to like 40, 45, 80 something all in all because I kept all the receipts, and I'm just super stoked that I was able to build that for that amount of money. I can't complain. Big Boss Hoss, man. Good, man. How's your night going, man? I was gonna wrap it up here in like 30 seconds, only because I didn't want to drag this on too late, but I just wanted to uh, I just wanted to stop in and say hi to everybody and see how this goes. Yeah, man, I'm glad you caught it too, and it's I'm I really appreciate you guys, coming on and supporting it. At least I had a couple people to talk to and kept me rambling. I didn't want to sit here in silence and not talk, so you guys kept me going, and Uh, I think next time, if you guys want to leave a comment on here or anything like that, if you think I should do this, uh, exactly, Dave. Uh, this is this is a good crowd, man. Good channels on here, man. I'd I'd rather have a few good guys than a whole army of shitty guys. You know, this is a good crowd on here right now. So we but if you guys are enjoying this, semi enjoying this, and you'd want me to do it again, you know, let me know what nights are good for you, and if like if like a Saturday's better or a Sunday's better or a Friday's better. Uh, I'm pretty much I make my own schedule, so I can pretty much do this any night, and I'd like to do it more often. I'm gonna find ways to make it a little more interesting, so I'm not just sitting still and boring you guys. But uh, once again, man, I want to say thank you for joining me on the first live stream of this channel. I talk to all you guys regularly, so it's not weird or anything. I mean, we all pretty much. I feel like I know you guys anyway, so it's kind of cool. Uh, but yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'm gonna probably bust out another video this week. I'll probably film something either Monday or Wednesday. One of those 2 days, I'll probably start dropping this engine in or preparing for that on the fleet line. So I'm gonna have some upcoming videos, man. I'm getting back into a build. I can't help myself, and I'm also tearing down my swimming pool to build a bitchin' fire pit in the backyard. So that's coming up. Not that people want to see me build a fire pit, but I got to throw it on there anyway. Chris, yeah, brothers from other mothers, absolutely, man. Hot rod guys, we're all the same in a lot of ways, you know. We might have little differences, but we all we're all moved by the same thing, you know. What I mean, it's funny. All car guys that I meet, whether like everybody that I met at the Ruckus, who's into like classic car, that are into the 50s, that are into this shit. Like I have like lifelong friends. The 3 days I spent there, like I talk to these guys all the time, and it's awesome. So yeah, I mean we're all definitely alike in that sense, and we can relate to each other. But all right, fellas, I don't want to keep you on all night. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I don't even know how to turn this off, so I'll have to. This might take a few. Oh, I can actually focus in on things. Could have focused in on my big nose there once. Uh, but yeah, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much. Be safe out there, man. I look forward to seeing you guys' videos. You know, I like seeing what you guys are up to and what you're working on. You know, it gives me some inspiration. It lights a fire under my ass sometimes, and gets me into a project. But yeah, man, I'll talk to you guys maybe next weekend. We'll see. I'll put up another post, and if you guys are into it, maybe we'll do it again. So thank you for joining me, and see you guys later. Have a good night.